We will annihilate everything. Champions of this realm can do nothing to stop us.
You are very menacing. I just want you to know that.
A lot has changed in the last few years. The wizard gave me superpowers. And then everybody got superpowers.
Started from the bottom, now we're here.
All right, here's the situation.
Started from the bottom, now the whole team here.
The daughters of Atlas are coming to hunt us.
Children stole the power of the gods. You ripped it from our father's core.
Okay, I feel like maybe I should be writing all this down.
Give us the powers, child.
Your world will not survive this.
You want these powers? Come get them!
Hey, Khaleesi!
Started from the bottom, now we're here.
All right,
Started from the bottom, now the whole team here.
we have one job to do. Save the world.
I don't know how we fight powers like this.
I can't do this. Take my powers back. You gave them to me so you would take them back, right?
I spent millennia searching for a worthy champion. You know exactly what must be done.
Billy, what are you doing? I have to do this.
We end this now.
Yeah, we do.
Started from the bottom, now we're here. Started from the bottom, now the whole team here. Started from the bottom, now we're here.
And good morning, everyone, and welcome to Saturday Morning Cartoons, where every week we focus back on our past, basically in the animation reign. And the reason you guys saw this clip first thing this morning, because it is based on a Saturday, well, comics first, of course, but based on a Saturday morning cartoon, Shazam, which, and I want to ask the crew here, in the first Shazam movie, have you ever heard him called as Captain Marvel?
No, and he will not be.
Yeah, is there a reason why?
Yeah, it's called a lawsuit.
Oh,
Back
okay.
in the 60s, Marvel Comics had a character called Captain Marvel. You've heard part of it. And
green and white uniform.
Right. And the DC character Captain Marvel was not actually a DC character. It was a Wiz Comics one that had fallen out of had gone out of publication, and the copyright was up for a question.
Cool.
So Marvel sued DC for the title of Marvel because Captain Marvel also got sued. Wiz Comics also got sued by DC Comics because Captain Marvel was basically a clone of Superman. So from now on, it's just known as Shazam.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a real long history. There's a real long history of Captain Marvel.
Yeah, well, I love going to my comics expert here. So that's some news I did not know. So that's fantastic. You get educated on this show. Good morning, Rose. How are you, sweetheart?
Hey, good morning. I'm doing good this morning.
How was your
Saturday,
day?
Everybody.
Yeah. How was your day?
Which day?
Yesterday, I guess I should go.
Yesterday ended at work on a very disturbing note. So, so I'm glad it's the weekend, and then we get to deal with everything on Monday from what happened late Friday.
Yeah, you were kind of in a frump last night.
Yeah,
and I felt a little bad.
There was good reason for it.
Yeah, well, and I understand it was work related, but it was nice that you said the comment where being on this show just kind of dispelled all of that, made you happy.
Well, it's true. Jerome did a great show last night on the Muppets, and the Muppets were my bag as a kid. So
Jerome's show was last night. Both you guys always do fantastic jobs when you do your show. So I'm never surprised whether the show is going to be good or bad. I don't think we've done a bad one yet. We've had technical issues back in the day, but bad. Cindy Jeppy, one of our crewmates here on the show, just put up a post this morning. No, 26 she put this up. So maybe you know about this already, Jerome. She said something about the Jim Henson exhibition, Imagination Unlimited, which runs from May 26th, 2023 to December 30th, 2023. I'm assuming this is a traveling show, or
I don't know. I haven't been paying attention to that sort of a event.
Okay, the Maryland.
I hope it is a traveling show. I would go. They did that. They did that once. They did a Jim Henson traveling show when I was in high school, and I got to see like all the Muppets. It was so cool.
Yeah,
there was Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. I don't think this is a traveling show. Jim Henson was a Marylander. He's from Maryland, and this show is at the Maryland Center for History and Culture. Oh, okay. Stop. Next sentence. Is hosting the traveling show, the Jim Henson exhibition, blah, 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 blah. So, yes, my bad. It is a traveling show, but it starts in Maryland. So
very nice.
Go ahead.
A number of years ago, when I was visiting my in-laws down in Marietta, Georgia, the wife and I took a trip to a store called the Lost Luggage Store. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
Never.
Basically, it's a store that buys all the lost luggage the airlines lose and then can't find for a long time. And then they pay you off, and then the luggage has got to go somewhere other than back to the people. And in it, they had found one of the Muppets from the Labyrinth movie.
Oh, yeah.
So I got to see that up close and personal.
Wow. They found it?
That's
it was
really cool.
It was a piece of lost luggage.
Wow.
It was pretty well damaged, they said, because, whatever. And they refurbished it, and it's sitting in their display case now for people to see some of the things that they've found.
I feel bad for the sad sap that lost it.
Oh, yeah. Well, I understand.
Wow, that's great. The Found Hoggle. Okay.
Hoggle.
I guess the Hoggle is a character.
Oh, okay. Hoggle is the character from. Okay.
Cool.
That's a major character in
awesome.
Labyrinth. Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
I don't know.
All right.
I never saw that.
Saturday morning cartoons, guys. We're gonna say a few things. Since we're not put it this way, since I'm not 100% ready, this begins next weekend. Okay, cartoons in the news begins next week. I already have my first show in the bag, thanks to Cheryl and Cindy. But we're gonna go ahead and debut it for next week. But what we're going to talk about this morning, and welcome Cartoon Crew and everyone who is there. Who is that? Oh, he's talking about the Puppetry Museum again. Good morning, Terry from over the seas there in Ireland.
Wouldn't that be this afternoon? Good afternoon to Terry.
Oh, yeah, good
Terry.
afternoon. Yes, he was correct in his salutation to us. I was incorrect in his salutation to him. Yeah, almost time to go to bed, right, Terry? No, it's actually only 6 hours.
It's about 2 o'clock over there.
About 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yep.
Cool beans. Okay, so today's show, it is Rose's turn, and she's come up with something that like I said last night, I think is very interesting, because the first person, I told her this last night, the first person I thought of when I saw the title of her show was, of course, Fred Flintstone. You know, I other than, I guess, George Jetson, I think Fred Flintstone is the only cartoon character I know that has a job.
Nope, I know of one other.
Who's that?
Homer Simpson.
Oh, yes, he does.
Yeah, but I didn't
He works at the nuke
Homer
plant.
in this.
Yeah, Homer is the safety officer at the nuke plant.
Shouldn't he be dead, though?
Yeah,
now?
should be dead several times by now, yes.
Congratulations, Terry, on the new job. Oh,
yeah.
Promotion. On
Congrats,
the new promotion.
Terry.
Yeah, tell us what
great.
you got promoted to. I like to know that, and congratulations. People are
hiring.
What is he now? I don't know. But Rose's show is, of course, on Cartoon Occupations. Like I said before, should be very interesting. So sit back, relax, type comments as you go along in our chat room here, and let us know what you think about the cartoon characters that he's bringing up. And take it away, Rose.
So I was trying to come up with something new to do for Saturday morning cartoons, and I had come up with this occupations idea, and it more or less when I started looking for everything, I really couldn't find everything I was looking for, but I decided to go with some kind of theme with the job front and occupations. And so to get us started, for the longest time, people used to clock in and out with a punch card, and I guess maybe there's still some places that do that, but as things have changed throughout the world, I mean, either if you're on salary, you usually don't have to punch in and out, but these days people can do it from a computer when they get into the office, or like my husband now. This started a few months ago. He clocks in on his phone on an app when he gets to work. So yeah, there's not much fraud that can happen with that, right?
No, what could possibly go wrong?
Nah.
Exactly. So when I was researching, I came up with this with the sheepdog, Ralph and Sam, the sheepdog and the coyote, which is a great cartoon. If you haven't seen it, I'm sure everybody here has. It's a Merry Melody, a Warner Brother cartoon. There was about 5 of them made. Started back in 1942. It was inspired by a Friz Freleng cartoon, and then they did about 5 of these throughout the years. And this one that I'm going to show you is like kind of a compilation of the 2 characters and their jobs, clocking in and out. So go ahead and run clip number 1.
I love these ones. These are hysterical.
Yeah, this was one of my dad's favorite cartoons.
Was it now?
Now, yes, the coyote, if it looks familiar, it's not Wile E. Coyote.
Hello, Ralph. Hello, Fred.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, George. Hello, Sam. Hello, Ralph. Morning, Ralph. Morning, Sam. Morning, Ralph. Morning, Sam. Morning, Sam. Oh, good morning, Ralph. Time's a wasting, Sam. Yep, another day, another dollar.
Somebody's late for work.
Morning, Sam. Morning, Ralph.
That is awesome. I never saw all of them.
I never saw all
familiar
either.
with the clips, but I never saw all of them like that.
Wow.
Yeah, somebody put that together on YouTube. It's really, really kind of fun.
Yeah, I remember
But
punch clocks too.
I had a punch clock when I worked at my longest running law firm for 11 years. It was, even though I was salary, we still punched in and out.
Yep.
Boy, you know what a mess. People would punch over their times, and so when they're trying to figure out payroll, it would be like a nightmare.
Yeah, like I said, I remember punch clocks. Boy, am I glad they're gone.
Oh, where I work today, they're even more backwards than a time clock. We write on a piece of paper on a clipboard in the front office. Okay, so you have to still handwrite in and out on the thing. We do not have that technology for signing in and out online.
Well, real quick, the last job I had, I did have to log in to the computer, but I had to log in for each job and how long it takes, because that's how we bill people. But you had to account for an 8-hour day. If you're smart, you do it before you leave at the end of the day.
Yep.
But I'm not smart. I do it at the end of the week, and I have to go back and remember, well, where is those lost 15 minutes? If you add them up, it was all my pee breaks. Dagnabbit.
I got to do that. I got to do that at work myself every day now.
I was going to ask you how do you do it, Jerome? Is it on the computer?
We log in and out, and we have 7 minutes, a 7-minute window of when we can do it. We log in and out, or we're considered late. We also have to log in and out for lunch. Then we have to log every second of what we do at work. You know, if I pick up a hammer, I have to not only create a work order that tracks my time, but I also have to do a specialized timesheet for it. It's a whole mess of paper for a certain. It's absolutely horrible. Nobody seems to realize that the horror that it is. They're all like, well, just do it because we're getting paid. And it's like, you know, you're becoming more and more inefficient, and they don't want to listen.
Oh, I hate that. I hate when people say, oh, you're getting paid no matter what you do. Oh,
yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Gives me.
I also get the "you're lucky you have a job" comment too, type of things.
Hey, can you guys look at this? Can you guys look at this photo right now and look at Ralph's last name?
Ralph Wolf.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so he is not the coyote.
He's not a coyote.
Yeah.
But his design is very similar, except for the red nose.
Yeah. Interesting. Yep. Okay.
So that is clip number 1, and everybody loves Ralph and Sam. I don't know anybody who doesn't, but very cool. So the next clip, okay. I went into this looking for Flintstone clips about Slate and Fred, because everybody knows there's this huge dynamic between Slate and Fred. Right. I could find nothing. I found one clip, but I decided not to use it because it was when Fred was boss for a day and Slate was like kind of like the lackey, and I didn't want to use that. Oh, yeah. So I dumped it. But I came up with this other one. This is actually the first one I found. It's about Barney. And so we're going to talk about job searching. Job searching is hard and can take forever sometimes. Yep. And it's a nightmare. Okay. I hate when I'm out of work. You've got to slurp your resume around. And then if you get an interviews are like so difficult. Sometimes you feel like you're under the gun. I hate the interviews where you go in and there's like this group of people and they ask you all these questions, and it's just, you know, you feel like you're, you know, and I've never ever gotten a job where there was a round table of people. I just totally clam up.
I hate the job interviews when the person who's interviewing you is literally 6 months out of college and has no idea what the job really is. Okay. That happened to me last time.
The worst job interviews I've ever had are when I was trying to work for a county job, and they have these really bizarre questions that have nothing to do with what you're interviewing for. And it's just like, how do I answer these that would be, you know, you can't be truthful, really. You've got to try to think what they want you to say.
Yep.
And I'm one of these people who are like very truthful people. So it's just like, I know, I've just totally failed those. But anyway, so a lot of times when you do find a job, it's usually through a friend or a coworker or somebody who knew you, and they get you into an interview. Okay, so this is what happened to Barney in No Help Wanted that aired on October 21st, 1960. This was a first season episode, and Barney loses his job due to Fred, and Fred ends up referring him over to this other guy for this job interview. And, sometimes when you do land a job, it's not the job that you want, or, can become your worst nightmare. So go ahead and run clip number 2, Mark.
Mr. Boulder, eh? Yeah. Well, he's a great man, very big in the business world. But I hear he's not so hot with the golf club.
Yes, sir. He said that you would give me a job.
Oh, and he is right, son. You've got a job.
I have? Oh, gee, thanks, Mr. Stone. Well, what do I do?
Well, now, first, let me explain something. A lot of people think our business is cruel, but they're wrong. You see that picture hanging on the wall?
Uh-huh. Throwing people to the hungry lions.
Now that's cruel, son. You keep that picture in mind while you're doing your job.
But what is my job?
Look at the picture.
I am.
You're going to repossess furniture.
Repossess furniture?
Well, someone's got to do it. Think of all the cheats who won't pay what they owe. Think of how they laughed when we trusted them. How we took their word in good faith.
Yeah. Hey, they can't get away with it.
Right. And here's your first assignment. A real tough one. Refuses to pay up on his TV set.
What, a welcher?
You're right.
I'll start smaller. TV set first, and I'll work my way up to pianos, bedroom sets, houses. Who knows? Now, let's see where that deadbeat lives who won't pay up on his TV set. Frederick Flintstone, 201 Cobblestone Lane. Fred? Oh, no. And he helped me get this job.
So, yes. So sometimes, that job that you got offered bites you right in the back. So,
yep.
So that is from this one. I do want to talk about the Flintstones. There was an episode that I really wanted to hope to find, and I couldn't. It's the episode where Fred plays hooky from work and dresses up as a lady to go to Ladies' Day for the opening of the baseball game. Yep. Of course, he gets caught by Mr. Slate because Mr. Slate is hosting the game, and then he finds out that Fred was dressed up as a woman the whole time, even though they're sitting next to each other throughout the whole game. So the thing I wanted to add about that particular thing is that one time, and that's Mr. Slate right there, one time my boss closed down the entire office for the day, and he took all of us out to see a baseball game here in town. It was, I think, we have the Boston Red Sox down here, but it wasn't the Sox. It was the Mets, I think. Anyway, it was a cool game, and it was a nice. And he's like, just put the phones on, on recording, and let's all go. And he didn't tell his main boss, but he paid for all of us to go for the day. And I'm not at that job anymore, but that was probably the highlight of working there, was that time that we all went to the game, and he bought everybody beer, and we watched spring training game. So that was fun. But so that's what I wanted to talk about playing hooky and and I wish I'd been able to find a decent Mr. Slate Fred Flintstone clip, and I was really shocked. As a number of episodes that dealt with the two of them, I could find nothing. It's really hard to find Flintstone clips, so I'm glad I was able to get that one about Barney. So we'll go on to the next one. We're going to talk about Hong Kong Phooey, sometimes you're in a job that you have to make money. And then you have your other job, that the job you want, that doesn't pay a dime, but you get to do something extraordinary like save the world. So here is Hong Kong Phooey. He's a mild-mannered janitor who gets to do something worthwhile in between, as long as he doesn't get caught and get fired. So go ahead and play clip number 3.
Like a caper for Hong Kong food. Excuse me, lovable lady fuzz. I better get back to my chores. Watch this spot. Once again, before your very own eyes, I will hop into the bottom drawer of this here filing cabinet, and then quick as a flash, I'll pop out of the top drawer as superhero Hong Kong Phooey. Here goes. Doggone it, the top drawer stuck again. I'll give it a superhuman push. I don't know what I'm saying, but it sure sounds good. Well, I'm off to capture a ring of coffee. But first, I better warm up with a lesson from the Hong Kong School of Kung Fu. Now, here's a good one. The rice patty.
Okay, you can go ahead and stop it. I thought I had cut that off, but apparently not.
Number 1 super guy.
Yes.
Okay, you go ahead and talk.
So I kind of relate Hong Kong Phooey to me. Okay, so I've got a job that I have to do to get paid, but then I come here and I can be Hong Kong Phooey and do what I like to do, which is show clips of Hong Kong Phooey.
Okay, so you've got the robe and the mask,
but
right?
But it's for free, yes. So yeah, my persona of the webcaster on the weekend. So that was Hong Kong Phooey, and I know, but I always loved the show. I used to have it on DVD, but it's one of the things that the kids got a hold of, and now I have no idea where the discs are. But yeah, this was a fun show. So that is that one. So we're going to go to the next clip here, which is a Yogi Bear clip. And I want to talk about Ranger Smith. Ranger Smith he's an occupation. He works at the Department of Forestry. Rachel at one point as a child this is what she wanted to do. Around 5th grade, she told me she wanted to become a park ranger. And I told her, well, that sounds nice. That sounds nice, but she's like, I want to, now I'm doing engineering and I wanted to be a park ranger. Okay. So Ranger Smith, when you're in charge of something, when you've got a job, sometimes you have to do things that are not in your job description. He's not out looking for fires or out, making sure everything's okay. He's in charge of doing a birthday party for the person that antagonizes him the most. And sometimes in work, you have to do these things. You're given a task that you really don't want to do. So go ahead and play clip number 4 with Ranger Smith.
About that. For Yogi, a surprise birthday special TV show. For my birthday, a book. Trees of North America I've known. Sheesh, who needs it? And keep it a secret from Yogi. Oh boy, that's a laugh. Keeping a secret from Yogi is like hiding Lake Michigan from a duck. Especially a special Yogi Bear TV show.
A special TV show for me, sir? Did I hear you correctly, sir?
Yogi, you must have built-in radar in those big ears of yours.
Oh, no, sir. It just so happens my hearing is very cute. Much cuter than the average.
Okay.
So
that was it.
Yes. Yep, that's it. That's it for that clip. So that's Ranger Smith. You know, the poor guy. He can't catch a break usually. You know,
No.
he always has to do these things for Yogi, and Yogi's his number one troublesome bugger. And this episode was made in 1962, and so that is it for that one. And so we're going to move on to another show that that you guys talked about early in the beginning of the show, and that's the Jetsons.
Right.
Yeah. Ranger Smith is not a clever man. That's, unfortunately, that's true. But I mean, he stayed. He managed to be park ranger for a very long time. Yeah. But we're going to talk about George Jetson. George, when you think about occupations and you think about cartoons, you think about Fred Flintstone, you think about George Jetson, because George has a job. We don't know exactly what he does for a living, but he works for Spacely Sprockets. Punches a lot of buttons. He pushes a button. That's a hard day. He pushes a button. Yeah. Yeah, and that's a hard day for him. He gets really worn down pushing a button.
Doesn't he work? Doesn't he work every Wednesday once a month?
He might. I'm not sure.
I remember something about that he had to go to work every Wednesday once a month, and it was like for about half an hour.
Well, he spent in this particular clip. He spends about 15 minutes of that at the water cooler, and so that's what I want to talk about. Co-workers and the water cooler, which everybody said they used to gather around the water cooler. We have a water cooler at work. It's not really a place where, well, I guess they congregate because they're going to the coffee maker, but it's where people, you gather together and you do your gossiping. At my office, there's a back set of stairs, and the people who still smoke go behind that door to do their talk about the office. And every now and then I have to go over there and knock on the door. You got a phone call? You got a phone call? They're like, where's so-and-so? I'm like, oh, I know exactly where they're at. If they're not in the hallway, they're not in their office, they're back there, So for us, it's the smoke corner on the second floor. And for a lot of people, it was the water cooler. And that was a big like talking point throughout many years, your water cooler talk at the office. So in this particular episode, Spacely, with his cameras and everything, he's looking for George, and guess where he finds him? Go ahead and play the clip.
Miss Solar System, brought to you by Spacely Sprockets. Whee! Oh, I've always wanted to be a television sponsor. You can cause so much panic. I think I'll start with Jetson. He should be working at his desk. Not there. I bet I know where he is. Just as I thought, at the water cooler again.
And now, fellow employees, I would like to read you my latest company bulletin. It's titled 101 Ways to Goof Off at the Office and Still Collect Overtime.
Jetson! What are you doing?
Goofing off, sir!
Report to my office.
Yes, sir.
Oh, boy. The boss sure sounded mad.
You call, sir?
So at least we don't have to go through those tubes when we're called to the office. So
that's funny.
Yes. So what I found out about the Jetsons, and what I didn't realize was that this show only lasted one season originally when it was on prime time.
Yep.
Right.
From 62 to 63, and there was only 24 episodes. But this show caught on. People loved it when they re-aired this show. That it ended up getting 2 more seasons in 1985, almost 20 years later. And,
but they were not as good. They were not as good as the originals.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of the animation.
Yeah.
But so it got 2 more years after that. But everybody remembers this Miss Solar System episode. We show clips from this all the time. What a great episode. But that is the story about George and the water cooler. So I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that, because when you're at work, do you really want to be working? These days, though, what most people are doing this, as soon as the boss is like, no cell phones.
Yep.
Were you on your cell phone? Oh, no.
Nope, not at all. Nope.
Yeah, some people are so blatant, though. You go into a store and they'll be like this, and you'll be like, hello? Hello, I need my prescription.
All right.
One moment. You all have seen that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So there's that, goofing off at work. And then sometimes you have to have a job where you have to be a trainer and you have to train a crew. And I was not good at having to be in charge of other people. I for a brief time before I started working in the legal field, I used to work in retail for 7 years, and briefly I was put in charge of doing the schedule for a certain section of the office, and I absolutely hated it because everybody wants, I need this day off, I need that day off, and trying to make a schedule is very hard, and everybody always has some kind of excuses or problems, and that wasn't for me. I've been a supervisor since then in the legal field, but I only have like maybe one one person working with me, and that's a lot easier than trying to deal with like 8 to 12 people who all don't want to be there and always have some excuse to be off. So
yep,
I'm glad I don't have to do that, but training people is not easy, and sometimes if you're training and something else comes along to bother you, that's also a problem. And I want to talk about the occupation I'm talking about on this particular case is being a sailor in Popeye the Sailor Man. And he's one day he's trying to train his little crew of mini-me's. I think there's his nephews, and of course there's always an issue with that. So go ahead and run that clip.
Now I'm gonna teach you how to hoist the sail. Grab the line. Heave. 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 Oh no! Don't let's go. Grab that line.
Maybe I'd better give old Popeye a hand.
Pause it. We gots to has a little more practice in that sail raising, mateys. Man in the pump, we're in a twister. And now I'm gonna teach you one of the most important things to learn when you're going to sea. How to paint a boat.
What's painting got to do with sailing?
Yeah, painting's slick. A bask, not the sail. Ahoy up there. Comes down here at once.
At once? Aye, aye, Uncle Popeye.
Oh, no. Not that at once.
Nice catch, Uncle Popeye.
So training a crew is never easy.
Nope, never is.
I agree. This is from the 1980s. This isn't one of the earlier Popeye shows, but there was so many shows in the so many reincarnations of Popeye throughout the years. Jerome, have you ever had to train anybody?
I used to be a trainer for 6 years at a company. Okay.
Did you enjoy it?
It was the best job I ever had. It was the best job I ever had. Yeah, I loved it. Absolutely. My boss was 3 states away. And as a trainer, you get to look at vice presidents and go, no, you can't have that. So, and I love that because as the trainer, you got to know stuff first. You also got to teach stuff that you knew was being taught wrong originally. If you were any sort of trainer that cared, corporates wanted you to teach certain things, and you knew that wasn't going to work, and you also knew that it was going to change in 3 months, so you taught it the right way. You know,
Mark, you used to train people, didn't you? At
For
Universal?
years,
Did
8
you
years
enjoy,
at
did
Universal.
you enjoy it?
What's that? What?
Did you enjoy it?
Oh yeah, I did. 8 years at Universal, and I trained people to prepare themselves for interviews and things of that nature. So yeah, I did a lot of training in my lifetime. Hey, I've been quiet because I've been working on an issue here. Half of your photos seem to have disappeared, but I got it all fixed now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a glitch in the system, so I just had to re-upload things and rearrange. So I was busy doing that.
And speaking of photos, I want to thank Mike for getting the photos for this show. I really appreciate it. It's been a kind of harrowing time for me, so any extra help is always appreciated.
Yep,
always.
So I appreciate you taking a couple hours last Sunday to gather those up for me. So thank you so much.
Couple hours.
Well, it was probably less time than that. It just, I was like doing something, and I kept. He would email me, and it took me like 2 hours to look through everything.
We pass this job on to Mike because it's just one less thing we have to worry about. But usually I get them all uploaded in about 30 minutes. Because I've been doing it long enough. The longer you do it, the better.
Oh, it takes me. If I do it, it takes me about an hour and a half. So, so wow. I appreciate that time for him doing that. So, thank you, Mike, for doing that for the show. So that's about. So I wanted to talk about training, and now I want to talk about coworkers. Okay, so sometimes
we can all talk about coworkers.
You have to have. Sometimes you have to work with somebody, and sometimes things can go a little bit awry on the work front. But as far as occupations, I'm going to talk about the inspector for a minute. Okay, so the inspector was a cartoon that was actually 34 theatrical shorts between 1965 and 1969. And the inspector was based on Inspector Clouseau from the Pink Panther movie series.
Yep, right.
And so these cartoons were eventually put into the Pink Panther series show, which premiered in 1969. So, and all 34 of these shorts became part of the Pink Panther show. So, in this particular episode, Inspector Clouseau is dealing with his. Well, this guy's the chief of police, but he's more or less a coworker. He has to work alongside him, and of course, things don't always go right. So, go ahead and play this clip.
I like this little guy though.
I love the inspector.
An emergency call took Sergeant Judo and myself to the Rue Morgue section of Paris. The neighbors were complaining about a mad scientist. Seems these experiments were creating interference on their television sets.
I am not crazy. They are crazy. I don't sit around watching TV.
The sergeant and I began a thorough investigation of this whole house. Often in these mad scientist cases, there is a monster somewhere on the premises.
What does these monsters look like?
Well, mostly they're sort of variable, like this.
Holy free holy, I want to go home.
Sergeant, what kind of stuff are you made of?
Oh, enchiladas, chili beans, tacos, stuff like that. Nothing fancy.
Personally, I cannot see how you can stomach that awful food.
If my stomach, she doesn't like it, she can lump it. I think she lumped it. I better drink some of this seltzer water to put out the fire.
Uh-oh. Oh, here he goes.
Now it's mucho better.
Yeah, I've seen this one.
Looks like an ex of mine.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So yeah, so you always get that coworker who always has some kind of issue. I've got a stomach ache, I've got the headache. And this time he drank the wrong stuff, and ends up causing a lot of problems for the inspector in that episode.
Yep.
So that's that's a crazy coworker story. I have my share of crazy coworker stories. I'm sure you all do too.
Oh Lord,
you got the coworker. I had a coworker once. She was a real troublesome person. She tried to get us all in trouble all the time. Always try to cause trouble at this former law firm where I worked. And we all did a petition to try to get her fired because she was always this she's bad talking us in front of clients or trying to make trouble behind the scenes, saying, well, she said this, and then your friend's like, wow, why'd you say? So eventually
there's always
Go ahead, Jerome.
I was gonna say there's also not only the troublemaker, but there's also the golden child. Okay.
Oh,
that can do no wrong.
Yeah, she started out as the golden child and became the troublemaker. Okay, that she could do no wrong. This is why it took 3 years to get rid of her, because they're like, oh, she's bringing in money, and I'm like, well, she's causing all this problem among us, but they didn't care because she was bringing in the money. So eventually, she kind of went totally crazy, and she at one point she threw a shoe at a coworker, and I'm talking about a high-heeled shoe. That did not get her fired.
What?
That did not get her fired. It took a little bit while longer, and she started really losing it. And she went up to one of my dear friends. We don't work together anymore, and we don't work there anymore. But she came up to her door and she's like, "You're a dirty girl. You're a dirty girl." And that is what. And so my friend, who was like a solid, family lady, goes up and says, she just said this to me. That's what got her fired.
Wow.
3 years of pure hell, and that's what got her fired.
Yeah.
But
I have a coworker. I have a coworker we've been trying to get rid of for almost 6 years now. And that's basically not going to happen. I have contributed to the firing of people because I just think they couldn't handle the job. Some jobs just aren't suited for you, and you don't know that until you get into it, or other people don't know it, especially the people that hired you. They don't find out until you actually get into the job. But coworkers can be fun sometimes,
That's not a good fit, as we use.
Not a good fit.
At my current workplace, they're saying, well, they just weren't a good fit for the firm.
I mean, I've had to throw a colleague under the bus because it came down to layoff times, and who was it? It was either him or me. So I had to throw a guy under the bus.
This is like what's the island show that they have, reality series?
Survivor.
Survivor. Yeah, it's like Survivor. Throw them under the bus. Just a 5. That's funny. All right. Excellent.
So that's our coworker talk. And speaking of coworkers, there's a lot of times when there's things happening behind closed doors, people get in trouble, or there's something going on and you can feel it. You've got this feeling that something's going on in the office. It's just, you can feel it in the air. And so what do you do when you see closed doors? You try to listen in to find out what's going on. I've done this. Okay. I've had the cup to the wall. At my former place where I used to work, I actually considered buying the bugs so I could listen in on what was happening, but I never did that. But the thought did come to mind. Okay, but yeah, I've done the cup to the wall. We've all been like people gather in the room and we'll be like, shh, and while we're trying to listen in to see what's going on.
God.
And so
stethoscopes. Stethoscopes.
I don't. I didn't ever get that far. But I did. So in episode of Police Academy, this is what happens. And Police Academy, believe it or not, was a cartoon. Yes, based on the TV series. And we talked about it here on the show before. It was on. It was a syndicated show from 88 to 89, and it was 2 seasons, 65 episodes of that show.
Really?
But go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm surprised. I mean, based off of what the movies, for how many movies there were, I didn't think it was that popular.
Yeah, what? I don't even know how many. I stopped counting at 4. Police Academy 4, and I don't know if there was any more after that.
I mean,
but they decided, you know.
Yeah, the first one was a huge hit.
The first one was really good.
Yeah, and that had Ken Quantrill in it.
Yes.
Yeah, and Steven Guttenberg, and I don't think Steven Guttenberg was in. I think he might have been in 2, but then after that, not.
Yeah.
They started basing on Winslow. You know, I think Winslow became like one of the main characters, the guy who does all the voice noises and stuff.
Yeah.
But remember, this was the 80s. And the 80s did a lot of experimentation with movies. Remember, the original Police Academy was rated R. Okay.
That's true.
So I think we did a show one time on R-rated movies that became cartoons. And this was one of them. So go ahead and run that clip.
It 999 66th Street.
All right, Proctor. Did you call the reporters?
Yes, Captain. They're on the way.
Good. We'll make headlines when we bust the clown gang. And I'll get that promotion to another precinct far, far away from Mahoney and the rest of his goons. Okay, Proctor. Ready? Now! Gotcha! This is a blast! Huh?
Not only did you let the clown gang slip through your fingers, you have embarrassed the department with this ridiculous photograph.
Sorry, sir, but they caught my bad side.
Let me explain, Chief. This was all Mahoney's fault. He gave me the wrong...
And you can forget that promotion, Harris.
But, Chief, it's not me. It's those incompetent cops.
And furthermore, Harris, you've been reassigned.
Yes. So I don't know about you guys. So did you ever try to listen in on your bosses talking to somebody?
Oh yeah.
No, I would never do that. That's horrible. That's terrible. I mean, you got to take at least some pen and paper with you so you remember.
Yeah, there you go. You have to have something with you so that if the door suddenly opens, it looks like you're working.
Exactly. Yeah. Hey, let me segue real quick because I know this guy probably won't hang on long, but I want to get to this question here. And it's from a Marc Robinson, who's with the Traveling TARDIS living in UK. Watching Saturday morning cartoons, we only had 2 channels. What is the difference between USA cartoon and UK cartoon? Well, considering a lot of folks over here have not seen a UK cartoon.
Oh, sure we have.
Well, I'm waiting.
Well, we've seen all the Jerry Anderson stuff. And that was all UK.
Well, if you want to consider that in the cartoon realm, which is okay, I'll do that. I love all the Jerry Anderson stuff. I can't say I've really seen, a true UK cartoon. I don't think I have. I know the humor is different in the UK it is over here in the US. There is a select few of Americans that actually get, UK humor, maybe 2 or 3 of us. But I other than the USA. It's
well, the most obvious one is they drive on the wrong side of the road.
Well, yeah, but
the humor is definitely different. The cultural aspects, they talk about food differently. They talk about different things, the different phraseology, but they're still all basically the same. I mean, I've watched Danger Mouse, which is a UK cartoon.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
If we're going to go back to Jerry Anderson stuff and things of that nature, it's probably the only thing about any UK cartoon or, show in that kind of realm that actually interests me, but they're not humor-based cartoons. And not all cartoons have to be humor-based. We have action cartoons, of course, as well. But I don't really consider the Brits funny. A little too, yeah. I mean, I love Benny Hill. Don't get me wrong, okay? But if you think of the population of the U.S., I don't think the population of the U.S. is into anything Benny Hill related. There is a select population of the U.S. that's into Monty Python stuff, of course. But
Let's see.
widely,
Charlie Chaplin, Benny
Benny
Hill. Let's see. Charlie Chaplin, Benny Hill, Monty Python. I like Dave Allen, who was an Irishman, though. There is, let's see. Oh, wait. Taming of the Shrew. That was funny. The original Office was in the UK. The Young Ones was also a UK show.
Didn't do it for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I would have thought for sure you would have been a Young Ones fan.
And I'm a humorous guy, but there's a lot of British humor that I just goes completely over my head. It really do. I mean, it's a personal taste here now. It's not a generalization. I just think that anything I could generalize is that, if UK humor appealed to Americans, there would be a lot more UK shows on network television. And I'm sure this is the decisions of the networks that if they wanted, UK humor on their networks, they book them. Now, I know PBS shows a lot of, UK shows. They kind of delve a little bit into that kind of thing. So,
yeah.
That's the best I can do for you, Mark. Sorry, just like I said, it's a matter of taste.
You know what I'd like to see? I'd like to see Mark or somebody come on the show and share their cartoon history with us.
And I wish he would, Mark. So it's an open invitation. Kind of gather, at least 10 shows that you know of in the UK. If you had that many, we'll take anything you have. Come on and be a guest on the show, and let's talk about international cartoons. We'd appreciate it if you would.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right. Sorry, Rose. I just wanted to answer that question real quick because I don't know how long he would hang in. He was doing this from the UK.
Oh yeah, no worries. And I loved the UK show. Are You Being Served?
Okay? There you go.
It played on PBS. At the time, I got introduced to it from my dad. I was working in retail, and I could really relate.
I've become a fan of what's her Dawn French, and she was the minister, and I can't remember the name of the show.
Oh, yeah.
Excuse me.
Cheryl makes a point here. Yeah, I'm sure there are, but like I said, I think there is a select few of our population. Now, I know a lot of my convention friends. A lot of convention friends that I know of are the ones that actually mention UK shows, only because we have very taste among con-goers. And, of course, we're going to know those shows, at least a lot of them, more than the general audience. Like she mentions, the Vicor, never heard of it. Have no idea what that is.
The Vicar of Dibley, that's the show I was talking about.
Have no idea what that is. Okay. Go ahead, Rose. Sorry, dear, to interrupt your program here. We return you back to your regularly scheduled program, already in progress.
So I also did want to, before we go back to that, I did want to mention that a lot of American cartoons did play in the UK, and sometimes their names were different and changed a little bit up.
I agree.
For that show too, for Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah, seen and heard that.
But going back to the occupations, sometimes when you can't get a lot of people join the military.
Oh no!
And sometimes they get tired of working your day job, or you get an opportunity and you join the Army. And
I think I know which one this one is.
Laverne and Shirley did an episode where they joined the Army, and somebody brilliant at ABC decided this would make a great cartoon. So even though it was only like I think it might have been 1 or 2 episodes. I think it might have been a 2-parter of the original Laverne and Shirley. They did a whole cartoon series, 22 episodes on Laverne and Shirley joined the Army. And sometimes you can get in trouble in the Army for going AWOL, and then your sergeant comes after you. So go ahead and run that clip. And by the way, the sergeant is a pig in this particular.
Laverne, will you look what we found?
Anything we can do for you ladies?
Lots of things. Show us around, take us to dinner, buy us expensive presents.
I like your style. Direct. This here's Slade. I'm the dude.
This here's Laverne. I'm the Cheryl.
Don't you two know that Bigfoot has been ravaging this area?
Yeah, we know. Just so happens we're running from him at this very minute.
Aha!
So that's where they ran off to.
You two better hike back out of this forest and hightail it on home.
We will do no such a thing. Really? You two bozos will have to answer to the U.S. of A. Army for misleading.
Pause. We all know that voice, right?
Oh, yes, we do.
All right.
My troops. There is no Bigfoot. And as for you two.
Why, it's a pig, Slade.
Say that with respect, mister. As I was saying, we're gonna march right back to that forsaken wilderness and set up camp. Forward, march! Yes, sir! As you were, men. Hop, 2, 3, 4, hop.
Okay, it's a talking pig. Got it.
Taking orders from Bacon.
Kevin Bacon, by the way.
Yes, so that is Laverne and Shirley in the military for their brief time with the pig. Who did the voice of the pig?
Ron Pomelo Horshack.
Oh,
Welcome
that's
back,
right. I
Yeah.
knew I couldn't place it, but you guys
Yeah.
immediately knew. Of course. So there's that. So I only have one more clip, and it's not a Saturday morning cartoon, but it is one of my favorite episodes from this particular series. I love American Dad. I don't like the first couple of seasons when it was on regular television. But this show has been running for 19 seasons,
Really?
since it found its home at TBS. 334 episodes of American Dad. Okay.
Holy moly! Oh,
yeah,
American Dad.
And it's still on. They had talked about canceling it, and apparently they decided.
Where is
got
it
saved,
on?
so.
TBS.
Is it still on
TBS?
Fox?
It's TBS.
TBS.
Yeah,
Are there
TBS,
new
and you can
episodes?
see some of it. Cartoon Network, Adult Swim shows some of the episodes
Sure.
also. Yeah,
Yeah.
they show a lot of the early ones sometimes, and the back like any original like cartoon series, it was really kind of rough couple
Right.
of seasons, but they finally found their stride, mostly with Roger the alien, which
Yeah.
is just hilarious. But this is not.
Yeah.
This particular, I picked this particular scene because this is kind of reminds me of my life, even though I don't work at a sub place like this character. But this is the daughter, and she's working at a place called Subhub, and she's been working there for quite a few years. But in this particular episode, her dad is, telling her, about it's called, what is the name? The Long March. And so the Long March is your life, you're in the workplace.
Yeah.
And so basically he told her, here he gives her a schedule, and she looks at her schedule and it's like, go to work, go home, go to work, go home. And this sticks in her brain. And so Haley is at her job, and she's thinking about what her dad told her. And after a while, it gets to her. So go ahead and run this.
Let me ask this first. Are you guys clock watchers?
I can't be. I'm not in this particular job I'm at now. I can't be because the clock. I get so lost in my job. Sometimes I don't leave for lunch until like 10 or 20 minutes after I'm supposed to.
Yeah. Jerome, are you a clock watcher?
20 minutes later.
On advice of my attorney, I must plead the Fifth Amendment.
Let me tell you, there are people at my office who leave exactly at 5 o'clock every day. No matter what they're supposed to be in the middle of doing, they just drop it and go. At noon.
Well, it's interesting. Interesting you said that real quick. I remember in my profession, you should not look at the clock, because in some jobs, when they hire you, of course, they expect you to work 45 hours, but you only get paid for 40.
Yeah, I don't do that anymore.
It demonstrates a loyalty to the company, put it that way. Okay, they literally expect you. Now, of course, they're not going to punish you for it, but they can use that against your bonuses and raises in the future and the whole 9 yards, that you're not a company man. That's what I'm used to. Getting back to your 5 o'clock dismissal, Now I'm at a job where it doesn't even matter what time of day you come into work. But I personally make a habit to leave at 5 o'clock on the nose because I have other engagements to take care of after work. But I have worked till 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. So you have your responsibility. You have to kind of balance your responsibility from you getting paid to work for a job, or you think you're only working at that job for the money. I should say it that way. So
Yeah.
I'm a loyal man to any company that I've ever worked for. So you don't ever have to ask me to come in early or ever have to ask me to work late. If I can, absolutely, I have no problem with it. And part of that also means that you just love your job. Simple as that. You just don't mind. You just love your job. So clock watchers. Okay, I got it. I have to remember that. Jerome's a clock watcher. Okay, Jerome, what time is it?
I don't know.
Good man. All right. I'll play this for you now.
These guys don't march.
Haley, no phones at work. Don't want you thinking of the outside world.
Avocado on that?
Go to work, go home.
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 Avocado on that?
Go to work, go home. 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 Go to work, go home.
Avocado.
And done. Get in. I quit SubHub and now we live in your van.
That was great.
I love that.
I love that. That was freaking awesome. Go to work, go home.
Yeah, I've had jobs like that. You know.
Let me tell you something, Cheryl. When I get a phone call at 4:55 in the evening, even if I plan on, I get so
infuriated. And I literally, and I just did this probably yesterday. Okay, to be honest with you, where a call came in. And of course, we have caller ID on our phones so we can see who's calling. And before I even picked up the phone to look at the caller ID, I said, "What son of a bitch is calling me at calling us at 4:50?" And I look at it and said, "Damn it, it's from me too." You know. So yeah, I am. I wouldn't dare pick up the phone and call at 4:55 to see if my car's ready. You know, it's like they're gonna hang around and wait for you to show up to get your car. I don't think so. You know.
Yeah. It's like in retail when you're like 10, you want to close out your box and there's that one person still scouting around, even though they've made the announcement, you know, and they're still like, it's just so impolite, you know. I mean, that pair of swim trunks can wait till tomorrow. Buy it tomorrow.
Yeah. I don't know where people get it in their brain that it's only 5 minutes before they get off. Let me call them now. You know, I was like, what?
Yeah, I'm secretly counting my change. You know,
I used to be a hotline engineer, and I would have to work till 8 o'clock at night, which was 5 p.m. on the West Coast. And I would literally get a call 5 minutes before 8 o'clock and be on the phone until 9, 10 o'clock at night because some guy was like, "Oh, well, I got to get it done."
Yeah. It's really, it's rude for anyone that's listening to us. Don't even, you know, if you're calling 30 minutes before people get off, you know, forget it because you're not getting anything. And I love it when people call me up on Fridays and ask me if I'm done. It's like,
I'm done, all right.
Yeah, even if I am, what do you expect me to do? You hang around and print it out and what, you know. So
no, I'm done. I was
every
done
now and then I'll get
you're
not open on Saturday, are you? No, no, we're
no.
not. I'm not
No,
driving
go
over
away.
here on Saturday to meet you. No.
It's a law business. We're not going to be here.
Rose, just tell him go. No, you're going to spend the weekend in jail.
Yeah. Sorry. We're not open on Saturdays because we're watching Saturday morning cartoons. Are you stupid? You know. Oh my God. Well,
No, you're spending the weekend in the clink.
Yeah. What else you got, dear?
That's it. That was my final clip.
Oh, well, that was fantastic. As we, kind of go through your clips here and see people that have occupations, people that have jobs, and you didn't think you could relate yourself to a cartoon character. Well, we had plenty of data you could relate to.
Yeah. Yep.
So that was fabulous. Remember,
Thank
once
you so
again,
much.
if there's
I had a lot of
anyone
fun doing that one.
Yeah. And if you guys have a list of cartoons, and we invite Marc over there you got a cool name, by the way, Marc over there in the UK. If you like it's the middle of the afternoon for you right now, which is nothing for you to show up at 9 a.m. our time to start your show. You should highly consider it. Get together your list, anything cartoons you might have, and of course, great show as usual. Yep, as Mike says. Occupation, whose turn is it next week? It sounds like mine.
I think it's yours.
It's
because
yours.
I did it last week.
Yes.
Oh God, in heaven. Well, I got a topic. I got a topic, but
Mark's gonna scramble.
I got to start thinking now
host.
about the next topic.
I do too. I got to think about it now too.
Well, it's interesting. A lot of you guys that are viewing us right now, you really don't know how much work we go into to put together these shows. It's a lot of physical labor after the thought pattern. Once we get the thought processes in, once we figure out what we want to do, then we got to figure out, well, where do I find the clip? I always get the idea.
On more than one occasion,
Hi, Debbie.
My initial thought of what the subject matter has shifted because of availability of information and clips and stuff like that.
You know what my thought pattern has been? Do 2 weeks in advance. When my turns come around, I'm gonna have at least 2 of them ready to go. And let's see if I can actually do that. But but it takes a lot of work for us to put this show together. We had one viewer that popped in on the chat room complaining because we weren't showing any Saturday morning cartoons. Okay. Anyways, so that's cool. Marc comes in and asks about UK show versus USA show. We love questions like that. This is a documentary series, guys. We don't show you. This is not Me TV Saturday morning cartoons, which I do watch every Saturdays, but they only focus on 3 cartoons.
Well, so once
if you think about it, in a 3-hour block, they focus on 3 cartoons. You get an hour of Popeye, you get an hour of Tom and Jerry, and you get an hour of Pink Panther stuff.
Yeah, they used to have the Looney Tunes, but then Warner Brothers took them back.
Oh, well, that's interesting because anyway, so we always.
Yeah, I think they opened with some of those.
Yeah,
some of those I think they do too. And
I think some of those are now in public domain.
Yeah. So we can show clips, and that's what we like to do, and discuss what we remember about all the Saturday morning cartoon stuff, as well as classic television SmackDown when we do that too. It's all the stuff that we remember. I know Joe owes us a show. I know he's put together. He's got an idea for one. Let me ask you guys something. Since we're talking cartoons in general and not what day of the week it comes on or whatever, streaming services. Joe and I are huge fans of this animated series called Vox Machina. I think it's pronounced.
Yeah, I know it.
And it's R-rated, of course. So Mary, do not show Jelly Bean this series. Please don't. You'll damage him for life. He'll pick up a sword and cut your head off, and think you're going to come back later on. But no, it doesn't work that way. But and it's a great. You guys know I'm a fan of writing. If I can't predict it, it ain't good. Okay, no, other way around. If I can predict it, it ain't good. That's what I meant to say. And this series is just fabulous in terms of the cartoon format. Young Justice series on HBO Max. I love Young Justice. Yeah, there you go. And
I've seen the Legend of Vox. The problem is to me, and this is just a personal observation, nothing against it, But when I watch it, it's way too close to D&D for me. The game D&D.
Okay, I'm glad you mentioned that.
It's nothing like the show D&D that Dungeons and Dragons cartoon that we talk about.
I like, believe it or not, if I go center of the road here, I like the D&D commercials, the Pujo commercials. Absolutely.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about the Gygax role-playing game.
Second place would be the animated series D&D that came on. I like that too. Fine. I am really struggling with the live-action movie that's about to come out.
And that would be like the third or fourth version of D&D that came out.
It's just trailer stuff, and I mean I get it. You can't really judge a movie on its trailer, although a lot of people do, and I have to give it a chance, and I hope it's better than what I'm seeing right now. R-rated is USA version of UK 18 cert or 18.
I think certified. So. I think it is.
Yeah,
I'll have to look it up and see.
Sex and bad words, Mark or Cyborg. Sex and bad words. Okay, I know.
Yeah, ours were restricted 17. It's 17 and up here in the United States. Ours 17
I know
and up.
The UK and especially Germany. Oh my God, they're more accepting of throwing the F word around, the F bombs around like it was oh my God or gee whiz or okay, and of course that turns our heads around in circles over here in the US. Sure, we hear it in movies, but to use it every other word, it's just a little appalling for us here. In terms of Vox, it's from a long-running podcast of voice actors that play D&D called Critical. Okay, that's too much information.
I know about Critical Role. Oh yeah, I know.
Oh, you do.
I'll have to check that show out. I'll have to check that show out.
How do you know Critical Role? How do you know Critical Role?
Critical Role.
Is it a game?
People who play D&D online, and they used to watch that series a lot. So I've seen some Critical Role episodes because they have like guest stars that sometimes go on there to play D&D and stuff.
I see.
Yeah. I mean, that's
this is why I consider myself. Excuse me, Jerome. This is why I consider myself the perfect barometer, because I'm not too far to the right in geekdom, okay, and I'm not too far to the left in terms of a stuffy, old white American guy, okay. I'm middle of the road. There are things that I enjoy, but have never seen the games of this stuff. I just happen to, and that's the general public that you literally have to appeal to. Okay. Yeah. And if you come to the middle of the road with whatever you're creating, you've made a successful product, shall I say. I'm never going to go and play Vox Machina or Critical Role, or I don't even do D&D, but I enjoy the adaptation of that product. Thus, I'm middle of the road because you can appeal to me both sides here, which, I happen to enjoy. So,
yeah, Dragonlance, the novels, was based on D&D. It's on their game.
Okay. Awesome. That's who is this? Hello, Carlisle. Seeing you for the first time.
That's a friend of mine. Yeah, that was my phone ringing.
Wait a minute. Let me ask you this, Jerome. Yes, exactly. That was a house phone?
Okay, let me ask you this. Do you have ice storms that make phone lines and power drop for 4 or 5 days?
Okay, look. My satellite sits directly over my freaking house, okay?
Yes, so but you don't have ice storms.
Yeah.
Okay.
You need a landline. Yeah.
Yeah. The last hurricane and ice storm we had, I was the only one with a phone in the neighborhood because we had power without for 4 days, and people were panicking because their cell phones were running out of power.
Yeah. Cyborg, I had mentioned that already. It is a Pujo commercial, and that's the commercial or the live action of D&D that I like better than animated and the new movie come out. So yeah.
And there was at least 3, if not 4. Yeah, there was at least 3 or 4 D&D movies. I know there was a major one.
How does Carlisle knew that was your phone? Was she actually calling?
Carlisle's an old friend who's been here several times.
Oh, she's gorgeous.
She's fabulous.
Yeah, fabulous. So anyway, Saturday morning cartoons is what we do. There's Gwen. There was Gwen. Saturday morning cartoons is what we do here on this show, guys. So if you have any cartoons, you don't have to be a co-host. Excuse me. My tea is coming up. But you can submit suggestions to us of what it is you would like to see. Shows that you remember way back when you were 5. How young do you think we have to be to actually remember cartoons that we watched?
I remember some shows. Let me think here. Where was I when I started?
Rose, you could go back to 4 and remember what you were watching?
Yeah.
You were in movie land.
Yeah.
5. I was 5.
Oh, she wants some money. You can go back to.
Yes, that's true.
Give me a buck. You remember when you were 5?
Yeah, because I remember watching the Green Hornet on a Saturday morning. Okay, and I remember because the coolest thing about the Green Hornet when I was 5 years old was when they went into the garage and twisted the wrench and the cars did the
it flipped over.
Yeah.
I honestly think it was 7 or 8 for me.
Yeah, I think it was 7 and 8 also.
Yeah, 7 or 8 for me, but I don't think Cheryl says she can remember. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, I think it actually kind of dictates the fact that you guys are very smart at an early age. Simple, right?
No, thank you, Mark.
If I was smart, I'd be richer.
You'd be Richard. Oh, I thought you were talking about the guy's name. You'd be Richard? Who's Richard? Okay.
I'd have more money. How about that?
Yeah, well, you better talk to Cheryl. Cheryl, you rich?
Well, I can tell you I am not.
I was born in 77. Remember, I think that's supposed to be more 80s cartoons because we had a lot of reruns.
Yeah.
That's
80s
true.
did a lot of reruns. Yeah.
You know, this is actually insulting. I'll tell you why. Okay. 1977, I was walking into the theater to see Star Wars.
Yeah, I know. You've told us. I walked into the theaters to watch Close Encounters.
All right. Yeah, I saw that after.
Carol's not rich either.
No, not rich. But she remembers cartoons at 4. Okay.
So that makes her rich.
Yeah. What cartoon do you remember at 4 years old, may I ask, Cheryl, before we leave? We got to give her time because we're 20-second lag.
Yeah.
It's all Bullwinkles, Fractured Fairy Tales,
Looney Tunes.
Of course, definitely Looney Tunes, but that kind of stuff that I think sticks in my brain from early days. Commander Cody, Go Gophers.
I remember the reruns of when I was 7 of Spider-Man.
Okay. Hey, see you later, Mike.
I can remember watching Jabberjaw, Captain Caveman when they came out originally.
Yeah.
A lot of Sesame Street when I was younger.
Electric Company for me.
Man. Electric Company was the hip Sesame Street. And of course, you can never forget the great and wonderful Fred Rogers.
Of course, Fred Rogers.
Yes.
You guys remember New Zoo Review?
Oh, yes. Sunday mornings.
Not me. It came on every weekday at like 6:30.
Do you remember the Big Blue Marble?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
The Big
All
Blue
right,
Marble.
good. I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Saturday mornings at 7 o'clock.
Definitely remember the Big Blue Marble, all Earth stuff. You know, get behind you. Turn around, Jerome. Turn around.
You know, they need to do more like news stories for kids. You know,
They do.
You know.
They do. They just
did
don't
it.
get any ratings. Nobody pays attention to them.
CBS was the first, I think, when they had In the News. If you
Right.
remember,
Right.
it was a segment between shows. I always saw it before ISIS and Shazam. I thought you were gone, Mike.
They did that, and they also did a lot of them on Nickelodeon too. I can't think of the news. There was a news reporter who went to Nickelodeon and did lots of news stuff for kids.
Really, I don't remember the Nickelodeon ones, but definitely. But I agree. But here's the negative on that, though, Rose, is right now that's all we got. You know, I mean,
This is also true. This is true.
The verb comes up. You know how they put the letter up, E/I. This is an educational information instructional program or whatever. I'm like, oh, here comes another one. You know, we don't see cartoons anymore because it's now flooded with educational stuff.
Well, they do a lot of nature shows nowadays too.
Ooh, I remember Davey.
Davey and Goliath. Yeah, I remember that too.
And Gumby. I remember Gumby.
I never saw Gumby, but I always remember Davey and Goliath.
I didn't either, but Davey and
Well,
Goliath.
when what's the name on Saturday Night Live did Gumby.
That was Eddie Murphy.
Was it Eddie Murphy?
Eddie
It
Murphy.
was Eddie Murphy. He's Gumby,
Yeah.
damn it.
I died because it automatic related to, or made me remember when I actually saw Gumby, and I'm like, how many people are gonna get this? You know,
Yeah.
it was fantastic. You know,
I mean, I had Gumby and Pokey toys, but I'd never
I did
seen
too.
the show.
I used to twist
Yeah,
them,
yeah,
just to
yep,
get
yep,
them in
yep.
all the shapes and whatever. Could have got arrested for it, but anyways. So
Mary, I love what Mary's saying.
Yeah, don't feel old, Mary. You're
No,
still beautiful, but we're all. This is why people who watch this show can remember what it is we're showing them, at least some of the stuff. It's all just remembering our past, and this is what we enjoy is remembering our past. Because unfortunately, it's kind of odd to say this. It was a better time for most, or maybe I should say a simpler time for most.
It was an easier time for kids than it is now.
Yeah, on a political aspect, we can go through all of that. But
I mean, I could go outside and be gone all day, and Mom would say, "Be home by the time the streetlights come on."
Exactly.
Okay.
And
I can't do that today with my daughter.
You know, I still remember in my mind when I first heard the word pee used in either television or movie. I gotta go pee. And how outrageous I thought that was. And said, oh my God, they said that on TV. They said pee. You know, and now we got farts and all kinds of stuff that's just common to them.
Yeah,
but I still cringe when I hear it.
No, but I mean, you think about what it was. Okay, up here in New England, it was we'd watch Saturday morning cartoons till about 11:30, 12 o'clock, depending upon what was over and done with.
Right,
Then
12 hours out the door.
Right, and then around here, especially in wintertime, unless there was a recent snowstorm, you'd stay inside and you'd get lunch. You'd take about an hour for lunch, and then around here at 1 o'clock, it was time for Creature Double Feature.
Yes, it sure was. It was afternoon horror. That's how I saw my Godzilla.
Yeah, same here.
You
Same
know?
here. That's where I learned about camera, Godzilla, the whole shooting match.
Ultraman.
And Hammer films, Hammer horror films.
Yeah, the horror films and stuff. Yeah, it was great.
So you didn't get done till almost 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And if it was the dead of summer, you'd be inside because it was so hot. You'd be in the air conditioning. And then at 5 o'clock, you go out and you'd play like 2-3 hours of kickball with your friends.
I did a lot of sports when I was growing up. It was weird because I was a science fiction cartoon a nerd, but I still played a lot of sports. I was on a lot of teams when I was younger.
Yeah, but for Saturday morning, like the Creature Feature, you would grab the TV guide and you would check the rating. Okay, what's the Creature Feature this weekend? Oh, I've already seen that one, and I've seen that one, and I didn't really like it, so I'm going to go outside.
Carlisle, that's how I got introduced to the Three Stooges. Okay?
Oh, yes.
When we saw afternoon comedies, and it was like, well, here comes the three. Lauren Hardy, Our Gang, Little Rascals.
Little Rascals. Loved Little Rascals.
Abbott and Costello.
Yeah.
I
saw Mike.
Laurel
Mike,
and Hardy
I saw,
and Abbott and Costello.
Mike, I saw Destroy All Monsters in the theater.
Oh my God! I saw the Smog Monster. Was it Godzilla and the Smog Monster?
Yeah.
I saw that in the theater.
The problem was when you're about 10 or 11 years old, the Smog Monster makes no bloody sense. Okay, because you do not get the psychedelic stuff about it.
You'd have to live in LA to know exactly how dangerous a Smog Monster was.
Well, yeah, but if we want to talk about Godzilla, let me know. If we're gonna do a show about Godzilla, let me know. I will have my friend Bob Eggleton on our show.
All right, stand by. The first Godzilla movie in '56 comes on tonight on Svengoolie. They're doing Godzilla, the first Godzilla movie. So, which, hindsight, if you look at that again,
is that the American Godzilla, which has Raymond Burr, or is it going to be
Raymond Burr?
Okay.
Hand puppet Godzilla when there's a close up. It just cracks me up. UK public announcement cartoon. Slow down, Jerome. UK public announcement cartoon like Charlie
Says
and Hedgehog. I got it. Was distributed, but they were tame compared to. I'm going to teach you how to write, Cyborg. Compared to live action when UK decided right. Okay, I give up.
All right. I know what he means.
I think he knows what he means too. Yeah.
But if we do Godzilla, then I will get Bob Eggleton. He's sort of the American expert on Godzilla.
All right, well, get him. We can do classic television SmackDown.
Let's do it.
All right. I'll talk to Bob.
All right, guys, we really dragged on because we got interesting. we were on an interesting topic, and that's what happens for Saturday morning cartoons is we remember stuff, and that's the best part is remembering stuff.
Thank you, everybody. What a great show today. What a great cartoon crew.
Thank you guys very much.
Get in and get involved.
Yep. Hey, guys, I got to run too, so team doesn't have to hang around. But thank you guys so much. We will see you guys. Here, see you next week. Bye-bye.